y'all, hey, it's your girl Kat, and I'm back with another exclusive video on these gangster women. All right, so let's get into it. Miss Stephanie St Clair. She was born December 24th, 1897. She was a prominent black woman of African descent and racketeer who ran numerous enterprises in Harlem, New York, back in the early 20th century. St. Clair became a local legend for her public denunciations of corrupt police and resisting mafia control. She ran a successful numbers game in Harlem and was an activist for the black community. Her nicknames included Queenie, Madam Queen, Madam St. Clair, and Queen of Policy Rackets. She was born in the West Indies to a single mother named Felician, who worked hard to send her daughter to school. When Steph turned 15, her mother became very ill. She had to leave school. She managed to save some money, and after the death of her mother, finally left Guadeloupe for Montreal. Eventually, she immigrated to United States from Montreal, arriving in New York in 1912. During this long voyage, she decided to learn and pick up on English. In Harlem, she fell in love with a small-time crook named Duke, who soon tried to prostitute her, but was shot in a fight between gangs. After 4 months, she decided to start her own business selling controlled drugs with the help of her new boyfriend named Ed. Ooh, child, Miss Stephanie moving pretty quick, huh? I'm just playing. Let's get back to it. After a few months, she had made $30,000 and told Ed she wanted to leave him and start her own business. Ed tried to strangle her, and she pushed him away with such force that he cracked his skull against a table and died. Ooh, Miss Stephanie wasn't having that. She said, this what we not about to do. For months afterwards, she employed her own men, bribed policemen, and on April the 12th, 1917, invested $10,000 of her own money in a clandestine lottery game in Harlem. As a result of her success running one of the leading numbers games in the city, she became known throughout Manhattan as Queenie, but Harlem residents referred to her as Madam St. Clair. St. Clair was involved in a policy banking, which was a mixture of investing, gambling, and playing the lottery. Many banks at this time would not accept black customers, so they were not able to invest legally. Policy banking wasn't technically legal, but it was one of the few options offered to black Harlem residents who wished to invest their money. It was also a predominantly black industry, which allowed many bankers to have a sense of urgency that would not be possible in white-dominated fields. In this way, St. Clair used the underground economy in Harlem to address race politics. At this time, the numbers game in Harlem was male-dominated, and St. Clair was one of the only women involved. She helped the black community in Harlem by providing many with jobs, such as numbers runners. She also helped her community by donating money to programs that promoted racial progress. Because of her success in the numbers game, she lived a lavish life, making well over $20,000 a year in the 1920s. So guys, $20,000 in the 1920s is equivalent to $296,311 in this year, 2022. That's a lot of money. She was literally doing numbers. Queenie definitely earned that name. You feel me? No. So back to police corruption. St. Clair was known to put out ads in the local newspaper educating the Harlem community about their legal rights, advocating for voting rights, and calling out police brutality against the black community. Several times she had complained to local authorities about harassment by the police. When they paid no heed, she ran advertisement in Harlem newspapers accusing senior police officers of corruption. The police responded by arresting her on a trumped-up charge and spent 8 months in the workhouse. In response, she testified to the Seabury Commission about the kickbacks she had paid police officers and those who had participated in the Harlem numbers game. The commission subsequently fired more than a dozen police officers. At the end of Prohibition, Jewish and Italian American crime families saw a decrease in profits and decided to move in on the Harlem gambling scene. Bronx-based mob boss Dutch Schultz was the first to move in, beating and killing numbers operators who would not pay him protection. St. Clair and her chief enforcer, Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson, refused to pay protection to Schultz. Despite the violence and intimidation by police they faced, St. Clair responded by attacking the storefronts of businesses that ran Dutch Schultz's betting operations and tipping off the police about him. This resulted in the police raiding his house, arresting more than a dozen of his employees, and seizing approximately $12 million, about $190.6 million in 2021 currency. St. Clair never submitted to Dutch Schultz, unlike many others in Harlem. After St. Clair's struggles with Schultz, she had to become legitimate and stay away from the police, so she passed on her criminal business to Bumpy Johnson. Eventually, her former enforcer negotiated with Lucky Luciano, and Lucky took over Schultz's spots, with percentage going to Bumpy. The Italians then had to go to Bumpy first if they had any problems in Harlem. Luciano realized that the struggle with 5 families was hurting their business, so Schultz was assassinated in 1935 on the orders of the commission. Although St. Clair was not involved, she was remembered for sending an infamous telegram to his bed that stated, "As ye sow, so shall ye reap." The telegram reportedly made headlines across the nation. By the 1940s, Bumpy Johnson had become the reigning king in Harlem, while St. Clair became less and less involved in the numbers game. After St. Clair retired from the numbers game, she started a new era of her life as an advocate for political reform. In the late 1930s, she met her husband, Sufi Abdul Hamid, known as the Black Hitler, for his anti-Semitic Nazi fashion of activism. Hamid was a militant activist and was the leader of an Islamic Buddhist cult. St. Clair and Hamid's marriage went downhill quickly when he allegedly had an affair with a black fortune teller known as Fu Futam. Hamid went on to marry Futam, whose real name was Dorothy Matthews, in April 1938, and they founded a Buddhist temple together. St. Clair's marriage officially ended in January of 1938 when she shot Hamid during a fight over his relationship with Futam, and was sentenced to 2 to 10 years at the Bedford Hills Correctional Facility for Women in New York. After she was released from prison in the early 1940s, St. Clair lived a secluded life and was reported having successfully transitioned from the underworld figure to a legitimate, prosperous businesswoman. She continued to write columns in the local newspaper about discrimination, police brutality, illegal search raids, and other issues facing the black community. In 1969, still wealthy, St. Clair died quietly shortly before her 73rd birthday. Bumpy Johnson had come back to live with her and to write poetry, but died 1 year earlier. However, her reported death was not mentioned in any newspaper of that era. Okay, guys, thank you so much. If you made it this far, I truly appreciate you. But yeah, let's get into it. What y'all think about Miss St. Clair? Okay, she was a bit tough, rough and tough. But no, anyway, what y'all think about Miss St. Clair? Do y'all think she was too mean? Do y'all think she had to be that hard? Do y'all think she had to act, so stern like that? I feel like she needed to. And also, she didn't have any parents really growing up. So, yeah, she had a cold heart. But let me know. Drop your comments below. And please do not forget to smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you'll know the very next time I'm here. All right, guys. Holla.